Hello everybody, it's me Ghost Bunny, and we're back to reading the Case File Compendium. We're currently now on chapter 9. Woo! We are currently on chapter 9. This book is quite long. I didn't realize it until now. But yeah, it's quite long. If I remember previously on Case File Compendium, we were at the hospital with the homeless old man who confused her with being his daughter. We figured out that he doesn't have a daughter. I didn't fully understand that part. Did he have a daughter or not? Important thing is that he's being taken care of. They're taking care of his wounds. He's being taken care of is what matters right now. So yeah, that's what happened last chapter. So right now on chapter 9, we'll see what happens. We did leave off with our precious little you talking to a cute dog, saying you're a lot more understandable than our good doctor, because he's annoying. But yeah, they're already starting their little banter and their cutesy little moments. So I want a little bit more of that. Maybe because I was promised the romance. But I'm just a romantic person. Who knows? I don't know. I should probably stop yapping. I was going to say I should probably stop yapping, but then I remember having even my disclaimer set. And that is that, one, I have no affiliations with 7Cs or with Meat Bun. This is not an official audiobook. This is just us being gals, doing gales, and reading gales for the funsies of it. So just having a gale time, having fun. This is not an official audiobook. By any means. Like, if this was an official audiobook, it would be a lot better than this. You'd probably have to pay for it. Think about that one. I'm giving this to you for free. But yeah, this is not official audiobook. This is just us gals having a gale time. And when I'm on my own, important thing is, I'm not a native Chinese speaker, so I may mispronounce a lot. The names, places, whatnot. That is not intentional. I'm not trying to make fun of, make a mockery, or anything of the Chinese language. It is absolutely beautiful. I just happen to not speak it, so I'm very sorry about that. Also, yes, I speak English, but when it comes to reading, for some reason I get tongue-tied, whatever. I am not a native English speaker, so it could be that. It could be that. I don't know. But, yeah. Just wanted to give those disclaimers out there so you guys know what you're getting yourself into. Although we are in chapter 9, so you guys probably already know what you're getting into. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, just in case. Yeah, let's begin, because what are we here for? What are we here for? We're here for the Case File Compendium, not Ghost Bunny's random brain farts. So yeah, let's begin. Chapter 9. But never mind him. I decided to tell her my feelings. Oh yeah, I forgot that Hellyu has a crush on on Shishui. Ooh. We're gonna get some maybe some drama. Ooh. I'm very chismosa, as you can tell. So after finally resolving the unexpected mishap, the group was both tired and hungry, so Hellyu asked if they wanted to get a late-night snack. The first person to raise their hand and agree enthusiastically with the suggestion was the one who had absolutely nothing to do with them, Baijing. Hey Baijing, no one fucking invited you. Put your hand down. Put your hand down. Okay. How does Kanji sound? Okay. How does kanji sound? There's a restaurant over by the Bund that serves the best shark fin sea urchin kanji. Why don't we go there? Oh, the little note here says a Shanghai waterfront district. Interesting. Hellyu turned to look at Shishui. Shishui dabbed at her tears and shot Baijing a disgruntled look. I want to eat barbecue. I want to eat at Naiji Street. And the little note here says Garbage Street. Oh, a street in Hangzhou with many food stalls. So one wants to go to like this like waterfall district, and the other one's like, actually, I want street food. I want barbecue. I want some street food, basically. They're very different, energy wise. Then let's go eat at Lychee Street. Baijing said, "Isn't that too?" Right then, with Xie Shui present, Han Yu was a bit more courteous to Xie Xingqing, asking him, "What about you?" "I'll pass. I'm taking this dog to get its shots, and then a pre-adoption health assessment. If you want to keep it, I'll bring it to you later." He shot a glance at the little yellow dog sitting obediently by his feet as he spoke. Little doggy probably also wants barbecue. Just saying. Surprisingly, the dog took a liking to Xie Xingcheng, happily circling around him and wagging its fluffy yellow tail. Woof! Half an hour later, the other three found themselves at the night market of Huzhou. Laoban, Laoban, can I get 50 skewers of chicken cartilage? 50 skewers of lamb, 10 skewers of roasted rice cakes, 10 skewers of roasted mushrooms, a dozen baked oysters, and 5 bottles of beer. Xie Shui started ordering as soon as she stepped into the barbecue shop, as though she knew the place inside out. Also, you guys order a lot of food. Like, that's a lot. Like, I'm not saying that I am so small and so petite. I'm not doing that. But at least here, I would just get like, by the way, I'm from Puerto Rico, just in case. And I would normally just get two chicken skewers, and maybe some garlic bread. That's it. But then again, I am a professional brokey, so that would make a lot more sense. Either way, that's a lot of food. Isn't this sort of place kind of dirty? I never eat here. Beijing extended 2 fingers to flip through the greasy menu as if she wanted to touch it with nothing more than the tips of her fingers. Irritated, Xi Shui rolled her eyes. Weren't you the one who forced your way into the car and insisted on coming anyway? Ah, yeah. Little sis, why are you so angry? I'm hungry too, Baijing said. Baijing set her venerated buttocks onto the seat closest to Heyu, without the slightest courtesy or hesitation as she spoke. I'd just like to ask that you go a little easy on the grease. It's so late. I'm afraid of getting fat. Xi Shui glared at her, and viciously slammed a hand on the table, raising her voice as she shouted, "Laoban, get me another 10 fried rabbit heads!" Baijing exclaimed. "You!" He said mildly. "Get 20 instead. I want some too." Baijing could only respond with silence. Grilling skewers is a skill that's easy to pick up but difficult to master. The same chicken cartilage would not taste the same as though some key elements The same chicken cartilage will not taste the same as though some key elements were missing. If the cook were helming the grill, however, all it took was a jerk of the boss's arm and a jolt of the bamboo skewer to have the excess fat and grease from the juicy cartilage that had been grilled to a golden yellow drip into the charcoal, creating a miraculous chemical reaction. The aroma of searing fat and a shower of brilliant sparks flew out in unison as the boss worked. Enveloped in dark smoke, he was like a reclusive grand master, with a slight flare of his nostrils and the merest whiff of the air. He would discern the subtle, delicious element within the smoke that indicated it was time to remove the skewers from the grill. Then he plated the food and set the dishes on the table, serving the food while it was still hot. The the preparations were done flawlessly, down to the degree of heat used for each and every one of the skewers. As if the platter of comfort food were the personal creations of a master chef from the world of fine dining. A little less time and they would be undercooked, but a little more and they would be too tough. They were very crunchy and scorched to perfection, each crackling bite of fragrant juiciness melting like snowflakes in one's mouth. Shui could be considered a regular at this restaurant and had ordered a full table's worth of barbecue skewers. The little table, covered in a thin plastic tablecloth, almost buckled under the weight of the food. However, while she was working on inhaling the smorgasbord of deliciousness, Bai Jing stayed in character, doing her best to perform a quintessential Sichuan opera technique. Swapping faces. A little note here says that I can't see. Okay, it says Bian Lian refers to the performance art of swapping masks fast. Refers to the performance art of swapping masks faster than the eye can see. The same term is used figuratively for being two-faced and an instant change in demeanor. So she's a yeah, I can tell that she's very, yikes. It seems the young master, isn't a native of Huzhou like me. Bai Jing battered her lash extensions, and her lips, coated with shimmery lipstick, curved into a wide grin. Your accent doesn't sound like it. Yu asked with a smile. Miss Bai, are you checking my household registration by any chance? Yeah, not at all. Bai Jing hastily waved her hands, awkwardly smoothing down her hair. I did my grad degree with School of Business Management in Yanxi University of Economics. Your Mandarin sounds pretty standard, so I wondered if you were a northerner. A little note here says Standard Mandarin is based on dialect spoken in northern China, especially Beijing. The more you know. You must have been quite a talented student, Yu said with a smile, with a refined air as he selected the rabbit head, one with its eyes still wide open in unresolved rapid grievedness. I don't know, as a ghost bunny, I feel very attacked right now. Run away! Run away! From the barbecue tray. Unsure if she could take his comment at face value, Bai Jing kept rambling. Right. So my main reason for working at the sales counter is to gain experience so that I can be promoted to manager in the future. I can gain a lot of knowledge and experience being on the front lines, and I've served plenty of celebrities and CEOs. A few days back, I even met an actor, the one from that TV show that's been airing on prime time. With a crunch, Yu's gleaming white teeth chomped the rabbit's skull into pieces. Again, as a bunny, I feel very attacked. Bai Jing choked on her words. She felt as though Yu had swooped in and bitten through her windpipe, leaving the shattered remains of her unfinished speech within it. She suddenly felt a slight ache on her neck. Yu gave a slight smile. It was only at this moment that Bai Jing discovered he had sharp canines. They weren't obvious, their tips only peeked out from beneath the thin lips when he gave a crooked smile. So she really hadn't noticed either. Yeesh. Yu ate the rabbit's brain slowly, with perfect composure. Miss Bai should probably eat as we. Jesus, can I read? Miss Bai should eat as we chat. Seeing as you've come with us, we can't have you go hungry. Do you not like rabbit heads? Bai Jing swayed her hand hastily. My appetite is usually really small, and I get full with just a couple of sips of Coke I don't really need. Is that so? How you tossed the shattered rabbit bones onto the plate and smiled? That's really such a shame. At the end of their meal, even though Bai Jing had restrained herself a little, she still couldn't resist temptation and tried to add He Yu on WeChat. Seeing this, Xi Shui finally snapped. This woman was her older brother's matchmaking date. What was she adding? Why was she adding her used WeChat for? She was so disrespectful. Seething with anger, she said, "So sorry, but he can't give you his WeChat." Why? Why is that? Are you his girlfriend? I'm not, Sishua said furiously. She made up some nonsense excuse. But you does have a girlfriend, a real beauty with a specialty, with a specialty of it. But Yu does have a girlfriend, a real beauty with an especially vicious personality who gets jealous very easily. She's way older than him and manages him very strictly. She slaps him when he disobeys and makes me monitor his behavior when we go out. Isn't that right, Yu? Yu's reply was dry. What were you talking about? Is a special agent from the NBI. What you're talking about is a special agent from the NBIS. The Military Intelligence Agency of the Republic of China, apparently, little note says. Fuck. Shi Shui stomped on his foot under the table in anger. Yu said, I don't have a girlfriend like that. I also don't like super jealous beauties with vicious personalities. Fuck hell. Damn it, he's stupid. Shi Shui stepped down even harder until her own foot began to hurt. She looked down and great. She had been stomping on the tables like Yu smiled, retracting his long legs from where they had been resting against the table's leg frame without batting an eye as... Next page. As he picked up the grilled skewers covered in Sichuan peppercorn powder and set them on Xi Shui's plate. Then he turned to Bai Jing, who was brimming with excitement, and said, However, miss, I do already have someone that I like, so I don't add girls on WeChat so casually. Please forgive me. Bai Jing couldn't hide her disappointment. We can't even be ordinary friends? This time, even her Yu's half-hearted smile had vanished. In an instant, that amiable, youthful quality seemed to disappear completely as he calmly glanced at the girl. Thank you, but I don't think we come from the same world. With this simple sentence, he had essentially and imperceptibly eliminated Bai Jing's chances of getting out of this embarrassing situation unscathed. For a moment, the atmosphere became incredibly strained. Yu pulled out a napkin and whipped the oil from the skewer off his fingers one by one. Then he tossed the napkin, squinted indifferently at the flabbergasted woman sitting beside him, and calmly said, I'm going to go wash my hands. Not everyone in this world was a socially incompetent fool incapable of understanding human speech. Bai Jing had received the message loud and clear that this handsome rich guy regarded her with nothing but cold disdain. As for that she woman, it was quite evident. It was quite evident that after what had happened earlier, she had no desire to waste any more words with her either. Unable to bear the awkwardness any longer, Bai Jing finally gave a weak excuse and left the table in the feet. After a while, He Yu returned to find Bai Jing's seat vacant. He raised an eyebrow but didn't even bother to ask after her, as he sat down next to Xi Shui as though nothing had happened. Shishui rolled her eyes and cursed Bai Jing a few more times. That fucking bitch. Only then did she begin gnawing on a couple of chicken cartilage skewers, turning to ask Yu, "You said just now that there's someone you like? Are you serious? Who is it?" I was just teasing you. Shishui patted her chest. Shishui patted her chest in relief and took another tiny sip of beer. Oh well, you really scared me to death there. Hayu's hand stilled momentarily as he gazed at the girl's open and candid profile. What you looking at me for? Are you What are you looking at me for? Are you scared of me having a crush? Of course. Why? Because I'm still single. Once you're in a relationship, I won't be able to come and hang out with you so often, right? What kind of dumb fuck excuse was that? What are you laughing at? Asked Shishui. Yu reached up gently, thumbing away some black peppers that had gotten into the corner of her mouth without her noticing. His expression cleared. Then he acted as though nothing had happened. How do you manage to get a mess on your mouth even when eating barbecue? Actually, he had been wanting to tell her how he felt for a very long time, and had planned to do so ever since he came back from overseas. But, when when Yu considered it carefully, he felt that a declaration of love should be a solemn and serious event. He shouldn't be, blurting out all those feelings he'd kept hidden for so many years in the middle of a noisy street on a hot-blooded, hot-headed impulse. So he changed the subject. You shouldn't let your brother go on matchmaking dates with those kinds of young women in the future, okay? He's not young anymore anyways. And his personality is so stiff that even aunties his age can't stand him. Never mind those girls. The generation gap between her and your brother is just too wide. What are you bad mouthing my brother for? It's not like he's even treated you badly. Yu said, I'm speaking the truth. As if. Yu rolled his eyes, completely baffled by Shishui's reverence for her brother. Really? Just take off your rose... Ugh. Really? Just take off your rose-colored glasses and take a closer look. Your brother's already an old divorcee. It's enough just to find a decent person with a good personality. Someone so young really wouldn't suit him. Save your breath. My brother is so handsome and great. Why should he settle? He's handsome, but he looks down on and side-eyes everyone all day long. It's not like they owe him anything. At this point, it was as if Xie Cheng's indifferent face appeared in front of Yu. He remembered the way he had opened his mouth slightly, leaned forward, and caught the straw between his teeth. His attitude was just like that of a CEO accepting his assistant's service in a matter-of-fact manner when he didn't even have the money to pay medical fees. How could he be so calm and unruffled, so contentious and mocking? Yu was angered just thinking about it. He wondered what would be shoved in Executive Xi's face instead of to sweep away every shred of his composure, to make his expression go dazed, for his features to be subsumed by the wretchedness of humiliation. But would that face of Xie Chen's really reveal such a weakness? Yu had never seen it before. After pondering for a moment, he realized he couldn't even imagine it. What are you thinking about? Your brother? Yu said absent-mindedly. I'm thinking about whether there's even been a time when your brother was helpless, lost control, and thought himself bested by... Jesus, can I read? The answer to that is more likely to be a no than a yes. I'm thinking about whether there's ever been a time when your brother was helpless, lost control, and found himself bested by someone else. Oh, well, you can give up on that thought because I don't remember even. I don't remember ever seeing him like that. My Dage is super awesome. He's so cool headed and tough. Nowadays, he's always wearing a suit and carrying a book, but when he was your age, well, he was the best fighter on our block. Once, when a gang of hoodlums bullied me, he grabbed a steel pipe and took out like a dozen of them all by himself, dragging them to the police station. After that, those little punks practically threw themselves down at his feet like a carpet for him to walk on, bowing down and calling him the, well, all except for one person. But that's another matter, so it doesn't count. Seeing her eyes sparkle, Yu was only more irritated. He laughed. How come you're still the same as when you were little then? Hmm? 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 The moment he mentioned your face lights up. She's. How come you're still the same as when you were little? The moment he's mentioned your face lights up with some adoration. It always feels like your brother is your savior. But he is. You have no idea how difficult it was for him to be my mom and dad and my big brother, all rolled into one, and raise me all by himself. Well, you were also a good kid and saved him a lot of trouble. Ah, I'm no good. He's 10 times more capable than me. Shishui shook her head as she ate a skewer. I'm nothing compared to him. As the two of them talked in the restaurant's hubbub, he watched her self-deprecating demeanor. Finding her somewhat laughable, Huyu's expression slowly softened. He thought surely he couldn't be the only person who would like such a nice girl. He's like, oh, she's so cute when she's decorating. Ooh woo. He really couldn't wait any longer. That might. Well, Hayu didn't return to his dorm. It was far too late, and he didn't want to disturb his roommate. So after taking Shishui back to the faculty dorm, he had his driver drop him off at a hotel he often visited. He took a shower and lay down amid the fluffy goose down pillows. Okay. I'm back. Are you? His fingers flew over his phone screen, but his thoughts hit a snag halfway through the message. In the end, He sighed and deleted the words in the text box. He stared at the profile picture of a sleepwalking bear for a while, then sent the simplest message. Good night. He heard a ding just as he was about to turn off his just as he was about to turn on his. Jeez, can I read? The answer is no. He heard a ding just as he was about to turn off his phone. Thinking it was probably Shishui's reply, Hayu immediately picked his phone back, but the message was from that savior. It was a bank transference notice. Earlier at the hospital, I hit my e-banking limit. I've sorted it out now, so here's the money for the bill. Hayu had always hated it when Xi Qingchen acted this way. Plus, the fact that the message wasn't the reply from Shui he was hoping for made his reply all the more frigid. I was just saving someone's life. Why should you pay me back? Xi Cheng also hated when He Yu acted like this, but he was too lazy to argue, so he just said, then consider it a service fee. What? A service fee for driving me. Even if I found another driver on the spot, I wouldn't be able to find a driver as strong and useful as you. I should just read that sentence again. A service fee for driving me. Even if I found another driver on the spot, I wouldn't be able to find a driver as strong and useful, as skilled at revving engines as you. How you were speechless. How impressive. How many people in the world truly dared to use young master at How many people in this world truly dare to use young master, he as a driver, and then pay him for a service fee? Also, why did it sound just like a prostitution fee? Huh. Yu's expression grew dark. He was just about to reply when he accidentally exited out of the conversation and noticed his chat window with Xi Shui. He thought again of Xi Shui's sparkling eyes when she spoke of Xi Xingchuan, and those words she had said. You really have no idea how difficult it was for him to raise me all by himself. He was quiet for a moment. Forget it. He was her brother after all. Thus, Yu replied, You're welcome, Shige. Call me any time if you need me again in the future. I'll make sure you have a comfortable ride, satisfaction guaranteed. Show me your car insurance claims report from when you were abroad first, then we'll talk. Hughie's expression darkened once more. He shouldn't have been courteous in the first place. His phone dinged again. This time, it wasn't Xi Xingcheng, but Xi Shui. Good night. Thank you for today. She had walked out of the bathroom in her Huzza University faculty dorm, yawning while toweling dry her dripping hair. She saw the good night Yu had sent her in the moment she picked up her phone. She couldn't help but smile as she replied to his message. Then she sat down at her desk and opened her notebook. Though hardly anyone journaled their daily life in a physical book these days, they were always a few, eccentrics who held on to this nostalgic hobby of yesteryears, lingering in the past with the accompaniment of bitter ink, a sharp pen, and rice yellow paper. I journal occasionally on my phone, like a modern 21st century gal. Yeah. Xi Shui turned up the brightness of the lamp on her desk and began to write her bedtime diary entry. Today my brother went on another matchmaking date, but I don't really like the girl. I think she poured out more than 500 words, perhaps because she had touched upon Xi Xingchen's love life. She couldn't help but think about how she had always been single up until now. She sighed as she looked out at the night sky beyond her window, lit by the flickering glow of street lamps. She was different from her brother. He was someone who had lost faith in love and marriage. He was too clear-headed in life, and his peach blossom eyes regarded each person. His peach blossom eyes regarded each person he caught sight of. Which can I read? He is too clear-headed in life, and his peach blossom eyes regarded each person he caught sight of with the same degree of slight impatience. But she had someone she liked. An indistinct figure appeared before her eyes. Ever since her youth, he had often been in her presence, so close yet so far. She knew full well that they were worlds apart, that the gap between their social circles and classes was an impassable void. Not to mention the fact that there was they were even younger than her. Oh, she likes someone who's younger than her. Wait, does she like Hallyu? I don't think she likes Hallyu, but like, it's kind of making it seem like she likes him. I don't know. Does she like him? Could be. Could be not. Because she doesn't actually show interest in him. Maybe it's like somebody else. But now they were both at Huzhou University, and she could tell that there was no shortage of girls who were interested in him. They came one after another, turning to him more eagerly than waves of wind-blown wheat before the fall harvest. If she didn't hurry and tell him her feelings, she would soon lose her chance. If they slipped past each other just like this, then maybe she wouldn't regret it in the future, and she would end up like her brother, bickering over the trivialities of life with someone she didn't really have feelings for, speaking an insincere vow and walking into the grave of matrimony. Then one day she too might find herself popping back to life like a reanimated corpse, alone again and doomed to go on matchmaking dates. so as not to upset her elders. There were times when she really couldn't bear to see her brother like this at all. She felt like she felt that Xing Chen was living mostly for other people, regardless of whatever he had said about not caring about the opinions of others. He was actually the one who cared about his friends and family the most. Xing Chen lived an utterly stressful life. It wasn't like she hadn't tried to talk to him, but every time she got the words halfway out of her mouth, her big brother would shoot her a glance and tell her to study properly and focus on her own future, or he'd scold her about sticking her nose into the business of adults, saying, "What do you know? You're just a little girl. What do you know? A little girl like you." In fact, the one who understood emotions the least was Xi Jinping himself. Despite having lived through nearly half his life, he'd only had that one extreme failure of a marriage. I want to try expressing my feelings to one I like. Ever since I was young, Gaga always told me to be brave, and I think this is the same. Whether I succeed or not, I'll have tried my best. And and when I think back on it, and when I think back on it in the future, I'll have no regrets. After writing down her last sentence, she showed a closed notebook. What she didn't know was that in a hotel suite a few miles away, He was having similar thoughts. Does she like him? Oh, we're at the end of chapter 9. Okay, well, that's the end of chapter 9. Does she like him? I feel like the story's trying to make us think she likes him, but she doesn't actually like him. Also, did you guys notice that the girlfriend, like the fake girlfriend she described, was very similar to our good doctor, Xi Xingchuan? Like, she kind of described her brother. Xi Xingchen. Yeah, she kind of described Xi Xingchen. Like, they shouldn't describe him to a T, kind of. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe she did, because he does look like he would be the jealous type. Like, he does, like, give kind of, like, jealousy vibes, so maybe she, like, described him. But it kind of gave vibes that she was describing her brother, like, the fake girlfriend, so. Because pretty, stern, serious, jealous, you know. Pero, yeah, that's the end for, chapter 9. It was chapter 9, right? Let me check. Yeah, for chapter 9. It was the end of chapter 9. If you guys been liking my reading, you guys can like, comment, and subscribe. I have a full playlist of the other chapters if you guys want to hear them. Pero other than that, I hope you have a good day, night, wherever you are, however you are. And bye bye bye. Bye bye bye.